everybody, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Wendy Lee, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight to what it all means. Kicking off the show today is Perri Nemiroff.
Hello, guys. Welcome to your Thursday edition of Collider Movie Talk. I am so happy to be back hosting the show today. We have a really great lineup. We're talking about big movies like Star Wars. We have some independent movies that we're going to discuss that you should be keeping an eye out for. And right now, I think we should just meet the panelists for today.
Sitting to my left, it's John Rocha.
Yo, everyone, what's going on? Nothing but Star Wars. I thought I'd wear my Collider jacket. Got my black, got my green, got my white. Nailed it! Let's do this.
Oh, boy.
And we're going to call him the red shirt guy today, Mark Reilly.
Oh, red shirt, sure. Okay, I'm not taking that Star Trek reference because it's Star Wars. Everybody got the memo today about the Star Wars shirt. So,
yes.
Not
Except
me.
Perri.
Oh, wait. Sorry, Perri.
And it's funny because
damn
I
it.
wear a Star Wars shirt pretty much
Almost
every other
every
day
day.
in this office, and I picked the wrong day to forget.
That's why I didn't send you the memo, because I just naturally assumed you were wearing a Star Wars shirt.
All
Yeah,
right,
well, we're in the
fine.
ship, and she's clearly down in the village.
Yeah, she's
one of the villagers.
Whoa.
Let's not burn.
All right.
Wow,
We
sick burn.
We can't get too saucy too fast. Otherwise, the show will go completely off the rails, and it's not, because we got to rein it in to discuss something that just dropped this morning. It's not on the sidebar. We got our very first teaser trailer for the new movie, I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie. This is a big one this year. This is one where people are talking about awards. This is one where people are talking about how well it did on the festival circuit. I saw this teaser trailer. It has so much flavor to it, in addition to it just being based on a really compelling story. And even in this short period of time, I believe it clocks in at under a minute. This thing shows so many different shades of Margot Robbie, and shades I've never seen before. So I am just so excited to see what she can do in this role. And she's already getting recognition for the part, because the Gotham Independent Film Award nominations were just announced this morning. And I'll tell you that the best feature list is Call Me By Your Name, The Florida Project, Get Out, Good Time, and I, Tonya. I, Tonya also earned Margot Robbie a nomination for her work in that movie as well. So I can't wait to see this. Mark Reilly, how do you feel about it?
About I, Tonya? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Look, this teaser, and I was catching it's a short one, so I'm like catching up here. We were changing some things around with Movie Talk, and then I watched this, and I went, what? This is it? It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
What the? I mean, it's like she's in that little pirouette, and she's like, hi. And I'm like, okay, this is my movie. This looks great. There's a definite tone to it. There's a definite feel to it. She looks fantastic. She looks different. I mean, I love how she's smoking a cigarette and puts it out with her ice skate. I'm like, all right, we're in for something interesting, because when I first heard this was coming out, I'm like, wait, they're doing the story of Nancy Kerrigan when she gets her leg hit by some jackass with a crowbar? What the hell?
I don't think it was a crowbar. I think it was like one of those like police baton stick things.
Baton, crowbars. She took her leg out,
yes,
like a jerk, and this looks fantastic. I'm excited. And the fact that it got nominated by the Gotham Awards shows that we have something to look forward to. And a big shout out to Get Out. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm excited.
Talk
I'm
about
excited.
that Oscar buzz with
Yeah.
Get Out. This might pave the way.
I think it definitely. I think it's a sign of things to come. I think we could be looking at Get Out getting a surprise nomination for Best Picture. Again, there's 10 slots, so why not use all slots? I say this every year for the Oscars. Use all 10 slots. Throw in a movie like Get Out that inspired a conversation, that changed the landscape of horror movies, and then also said something more, went beyond the genre. So why not drop it in for Oscars? But we'll get there. We have time.
I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. Rocha, what do you think of this teaser trailer, and how about the Gotham Awards?
Well, I remember living through this,
yeah.
watching this religiously and seeing what was going on, because I'm such a massive fan of the Olympics. And yes, figure skating as well. I was always a massive fan of that. Excuse me a second. All right, there we go.
Do it.
Old man stuff. What can I
morning.
tell you? Old man stuff. Anyway, I thought the trailer was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I was worried because Margot Robbie is a waifish ingenue. I was not sure that she could really convey that weight in terms of strength and power that Tonya Harding had. The reason she was so successful is she had these incredible legs that were incredibly strong and thick, and she was not that dainty little figure skater that you see. That's what people rallied around. We saw this already. was almost like red state versus blue state type of thing when you've got the princess of Nancy Kerrigan and you've got the down-home strength, of Tonya Harding. And so it was incredible to see these two clash together, really brought out the two sides of America sometime in the 90s. So this was a precursor to what we see kind of happening nowadays. We've always had bubbling underneath the surface. So this film looks like it captures that. And it's interesting to me because Craig Gillespie is not really well known for directing these kinds of films. He did $1 Million Arm. He did The Finest Hours. Both okay received, but not really overwhelmingly received. But he did that Fright Night remake, which I personally support and liked. Ooh. I really enjoyed that remake. Yeah. And also the writer here, if I've got this right here, Stephen Rogers wrote it. He's written P.S. I Love You, Kate and Leopold, Stepmom, Hope Floats, Love the Coopers. How is he writing something like this? So there's a lot of interesting moving parts, but like Perri said, everyone who's come out of these festivals has talked glowingly about the performances and about the overall film and that it should get some nominations. So I personally, this is a great trailer that gets you right into her countryside, her angry side, and what she says about America. And I can't wait for these guys. It reminds me a lot of Election, that kind of like subversive dark comedy about our country. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wendy, what about you? You in?
Oh, yeah, I'm so in. I remember when the news came about when Margot Robbie was going to play Tonya Harding, and I was like, she looks nothing like her. How is she going to transform? And I know Margot Robbie is very, very talented. I loved her in Wolf of Wall Street. I thought she was phenomenal in that movie. And after seeing this trailer, I was completely sold. She looks just like her. Her body's transformed to really, embrace the physique of Tonya Harding. So I am looking forward to it. And the awards, I think it's well-deserved.
And if you want to read a little more about I, Tonya, Matt Goldberg for Collider.com reviewed it at TIFF, so you can go to Collider.com now and check out his review there. Let's make a move now from some independent films that are earning accolades to one of the biggest franchises out there. Wendy, what's our main story today?
In a recent interview on Joe, the outlet was able to chat a bit with Jedi Master himself, Mark Hamill, about his time filming The Last Jedi, where he revealed there was something special about the process. So special, in fact, that it reminded him of his time filming A New Hope. And over on Reddit, 114D posted a picture of himself with J.J. Abrams and Episode 9 screenwriter Chris Terrio, in which he started a conversation he had with the filmmakers, in which they reportedly said that they are going to be brave and there will be big surprises for 9, saying they also plan on uniting all 3 trilogies together by the end of the episodes. Perri, what do you think? Do you think Abrams' Episode 9 will be the movie that will unite all 3 trilogies of the saga?
I hope so. It's such a big question because the most important thing in any franchise, in any cinematic universe, is that you have flavors and styles and elements from any film represented in almost every single installment. But the idea of Episode 9 bringing all 3 trilogies together, my mind immediately goes down a story direction where there needs to be some sort of like really inspiring, inventive nugget that brings together what all 3 individual trilogies are about in a really unique way that I can't really predict. I love the idea and I love the thought that we could wrap things up in that way. I think it's very appropriate and it could be moving on a level we've never experienced before with Star Wars. It's just, I don't really know what they're doing. Even this Reddit user who posted this story said that he didn't know the details. They could be visual or thematic things that are bringing everything together. I like the idea in my brain of it being more story-driven, but thematic and visual seem necessary one way or the other. So, and we should probably also address the fact that a lot of times when stories pop up on Reddit, you don't necessarily know if it's true. I mean, really, when we cover any story out there, you want to get official studio confirmation before you get too carried away with anything. I'll give this one the benefit of the doubt, though, considering the guy posted a picture of himself with them. So it's hard to kind of disprove what he's saying. And really, I just hope what he's saying is true one way or the other. So, Reilly, what direction are you going in with this one?
Well, okay. To go off of your Reddit point, like, it is hard to take Reddit threads seriously sometimes. Sometimes people drop in there and they just put a rumor out there. This guy has a picture. So let's look at the proof there. But then he says some things that sound like spins somebody would say, like a director would say when he's talking about a movie that's so secretive like Episode 9. But it sounds like they're using language that's like almost like they're ready for these questions to come. And also it makes it seem like JJ is aware of the criticisms, and now he has Chris Terrio by his side to write all this stuff. And to say they're going to be brave on Episode 9, they have an original story in mind. original. You know, they're going from the Star Wars saga that we've had behind us, that we've seen all these story threads, and that they have something that they want to do. But when they say unite the trilogies, referencing the prequels, I think about the Last Jedi trailer, and that shot of Kylo Ren with the First Order walking into wherever that is so reminiscent of Anakin walking in with the clone troopers in Revenge of the Sith. Even his Kylo Ren's TIE silencer flipping around and flying in one of those ships was very reminiscent of the opening of Revenge of the Sith. This is for me. So if we're now talking about uniting the trilogies and referencing the prequels in a way and having a story arc in mind, I want this so bad, and it sounds so great because I've been saying from day one, when I was getting ready to watch Force Awakens, I was hoping that Snoke was Plagueis and that would unite the trilogies that way. Probably not. I think Snoke is just Snoke, and that's it, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. But now, if we're bringing in little nuggets of prequels and we're going to reference them in Episode 9, maybe even in Episode 8, because Rian Johnson is a lover of the prequels, then we're uniting all these trilogies. This makes it sound like they have something to say, and I love this idea. Please do it. Please unite all of it. Let's see some nods to the original trilogy. Let's see some nods to the prequels. Everything it's like poetry, like George Lucas originally said, and if they're going to stick by that, in JJ I trust. I do. I love JJ Abrams. I think he can do it, and I hope that it sounds like he's listening to the fans, and they're really going to try something new, fresh, and end this trilogy on a high note.
Yeah, there was another quote in there about the idea of him understanding people's response to The Force Awakens. And almost it says now it feels like they have free reign to do what they want, which makes a lot of sense. If you're going to take risks and you're going to go big in future installments, you do need to get everybody on the same level first. So if having similarities between Force Awakens and A New Hope leads us down a path that could lead to some sort of explosive story element that we've never really seen before, I'm all for it. What do you think they're going to do with this whole connectivity idea, Rocha? Is it going to be visual or is it going to be more story-driven?
I think it's going to be both, and I think it's going to be in equal parts. You have to in this kind of situation, and I love this idea. And it's not far away from what Colin Trevorrow said in interviews, too. He said, by the time we get to Episode 9, I look at that movie as 1 movie, as 3 movies, as 6 movies, and as 9 movies. So this idea is not surprising to me because it's been dancing around for quite some time. So the fact that they're going to unite them all and then maybe end the Skywalker saga, I'm all for this, once and for all, and we move on to other stories. We've given this thing decades, so there's nothing wrong. And I think it's great that they want to do this, and I think it's awesome that they're saying they're not having a lot of interference from Kathleen Kennedy or Pablo, that they're doing their own thing, and they're going to create this, and they're going to take chances. The reason people were afraid that JJ was coming back was because they felt it was going to be too safe or too easy. But when you have someone like Chris Terrio, who writes fantastic dialogue, who pushes the boundaries, really explores the gritty underbelly of stuff, then you're going to have more of this come forward. And this is also something that they've earned. They've earned their right to end this thing the way they want to end it, and they've earned their right to bring the prequel stuff into, because we have been far enough away from the prequels. We have all embraced Hayden Christensen again. We've all embraced stuff from the prequels. The people who love the prequel trilogy are louder and louder now on all social media sites to push the prequel trilogy and defend the prequel trilogy. So I think it's great. It's the right time to bring everything together, wrap it all up in a nice bow, and I would love if Hayden shows up in some way, and some Force Ghost, some flashbacks, something as a kind of like, we get it, we apologize, blah, 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 we're done, let's move on. And then we tell new stories. I think what's great about the Star Wars Solo story and the one we have with Rogue One, Star Wars has a wealth of stories to tell, wealth of characters, wealth of planets. It's the multiple media that's out there that you can read, books, comic books to explore all these things. It's because there's so much. It's such a rich environment to explore so many different stories. It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all with Skywalker about everything. You know, Knights of the Old Republic had nothing to do with Skywalker. There's many stories to tell that have nothing to do with these lines and these lineages. We can do more. So I'm excited for this.
Yep, you can't take chances without having a really strong foundation, and that seems to be what they're doing with Star Wars. That also won't be the opportunity that comes our next filmmaker's way, because he didn't establish a strong foundation. Wendy, what is our next story?
Oh boy, I'm so excited
Shots
for
fired
this one
already.
Here we go. Director Tomas Alfredson was recently interviewed about his latest movie, The Snowman by NRK, via a report from The Independent, when he revealed to the outlet that the production was very rushed for his liking. So rushed, in fact, that he didn't get to shoot 10% to 15% of the script for the movie. Speaking about the process, Alfredson says, "It happened very abruptly. Suddenly we got notice that we had the money and could start shooting in London. Our shoot time in Norway was way too short. We didn't get the whole story with us, and when we started cutting, we discovered that a lot was missing. It's like when you're making a big jigsaw puzzle and a few pieces are missing, so you don't see the whole picture." Rocha, thoughts on The Snowman missing out on filming as much as 15% of the script?
This is a bunch of bullshit. I just want to tell you that right now, right off the bat.
It.
Listen, I love you as a director. I love the original Let the Right One In. I love Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Absolutely defend that. We've talked about it numerous times on the Top 10 show. That's one of our favorite films. It is a slow burn, and it's a beautiful slow burn. This film was a piece of crap. And we're over the 9 a.m. Embargo, so I can say this. The Snowman was terrible. We all saw this last night. It left us in terrible moods after we saw the film. There's more than 10 to 15% missing from this movie. There's entire freaking storylines that are missing from this movie, plot points. There's about 50% of this movie missing from this movie, not 10 to 15%. And don't tell me you're subject to like, oh, the money or this or that. We couldn't shoot. Find the money. If this is supposed to launch your franchise, and you're supposed to do it like a Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, which was the idea in their minds, then don't give me a Val Kilmer that's voiced over by some other voice. Don't give me this like, which totally doesn't sound like him. Don't give me this film that is like a plot point, nothing in between, and nothing to do with it. And then the ending is an accidental ending. It's not even earned. It's not even won. It's so frustrating because Michael Fassbender, at some point, when you push away the Magneto films, you got to ask yourself, is he making the right decisions? Because the scales are starting to get a little bit unbalanced in the terrible stuff that he's in. Assassin's Creed, this film. I was talking with a film colleague of mine, I think we were last night, and he said the last thing he was getting was the one with where he was the brother and sister. What was it? Shame. That's the last thing he might have been, a last film that he was good in that he didn't have to wear a metal helmet on his head. Like, this is the frustrating thing about it for me, because I really wanted to enjoy this movie. I took time out of my day to go and see this screening, and it was absolutely terrible and a waste of everybody's time. And a waste of some really good actors. Charlotte Gainsbourg, Chloe Sevigny, James Darcy, all of these people.
Rebecca
Ferguson. Hey, they're twins. It's just all so nuts to me, this film. And so I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, except this is a terrible excuse, and it undercuts any potential this film might have had to make any money this weekend off Fassbender's name, because he's already undercutting that people are not going to like it. And he's trying to save his ass, and I don't like it.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel a lot of heat coming from
everything Rocha just said. I was with you guys last night when we sat through this, and I was very unhappy from start to finish, and I was unhappy after. I was really looking forward to this. I've only heard great things about the source material. I think the trailers really captured this really interesting sense of dread and the tone and the wintry landscape, and you don't really get any of that in the movie. And when I read a quote like this, first of all, I do think it's wildly inappropriate, no matter what kind of situation he had while making this movie, to be putting a quote like this out prior to a movie's release, because yes, Tomas Alfredson's name is major, like, front and center. He is going to take the heat for how bad this movie is, and so will Fassbender, and the big names we know are attached. But you have to think there's a lot of people who worked really, really hard on this movie, and it doesn't really feel fair to them for you to drop these quotes before their hard work even comes out. And, you know, when I focus in on we didn't get to shoot 10 to 15% of the script, that's not the only problem here. I don't care how you divvy up the schedule, whether they were rushing through individual scenes or they missed certain scenes, which that's what I lean towards. I don't want to make any assumptions on exactly how Alfredson was treated and exactly how the production schedule was treated. But what I took from the movie I saw is, yes, there are major plot points that are not fleshed out enough, that don't make any sense. There are plot points that are just completely missing from the movie. But then there's also just this hollow, empty feeling to the entire thing. I do not think it's anywhere close to Fassbender's best work. Those characters had no personality whatsoever. They are strictly what they are presented to be in the movie, mostly based on their profession and whether or not they have children. And that is pretty much where the character development stops. So I'm a little annoyed these quotes are out there right now, and I don't think there's any excuse whatsoever for how The Snowman came out. It's easily one of the worst movies I've seen all year. Riley,
Oh, man.
I know.
how do you feel about that?
I know, Reilly.
I was looking forward to this.
Yes.
I mean, it was Fassbender. It has a true crime element that I love to it. It's a mystery, a killer, and all these great things. Yeah. Snowman, killer, called the Snowman. That sounds cool to me. And then you hear these quotes, and then you hear your reactions, and that's a bummer. Yeah, I'm looking, and there's stuff in front of me where it's just like the reviews are scathing, and okay, damn it.
I know.
And you know, it sounds like he's trying to I don't know, he's making excuses for the movie. And now I look, I know what it's like to make a movie not on a big budget like this, or even like, God, I just know that it's tough, but you have to have your ducks in a row in order to get something made and out there. Don't do excuses right before your movie drops. Just go out there and try to, I don't know, try to put on a good face and promote this movie and talk about it in an atmosphere that might get this out there where it's like, yeah, this was a hard process. You know, talk about the filmmaking. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like he's making excuses, but let me go on the other end here. This sucks for a director if this is true, that he didn't get what he needed to get in order to make the movie he wanted to make. So it's a perfect reference to use a jigsaw puzzle, saying there are pieces missing. So now you have a picture up there with 2 gaping holes.
Yeah.
Boy, does that suck. It really sucks to think that that's what happened, but I'm just kind of bummed.
They had reshoots though earlier this year.
Then what happened?
That's what I'm not understanding. Is if principal photography was too short for you. Also, he said that suddenly we found out we got the money and we could go shoot. There's so many productions that have been in that same position, and people rally and they figure it out. That's what you have ADs for, and people to figure out the most productive schedule. And if it didn't pan out during principal photography and they had the luxury of doing reshoots, then shouldn't they have figured out a little more so what they were missing in that short post-production phase that they did have? I don't know. There's too many holes in this story. It doesn't feel right to me. If you want to hear me and Rocha rant a little more about the Snowman, we're going to release a review later today. So keep an eye out for that. But before our heads explode, let's move on to buy or sell. Wendy, what is our first story there?
IGN exclusively released a new clip from the upcoming Jigsaw, Lionsgate's return to the Saw franchise, which drops next Friday, October 27th. In the new clip, Jigsaw's latest series of victims wake in a dark room to find themselves in an all-too-familiar situation, with Tobin Bell's Jigsaw chiming in and asking, "I'm sure you're all wondering why you're here." The movie is directed by Michael and Peter Spyrig and opens next week just in time for Halloween. Riley, buy or sell the new clip from Jigsaw?
Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. It's cool. It's Halloween time, and we got Saw back. Now listen, I'm not a Saw fan that much. I liked 1 and 2. I think I saw 3, and I was like, all right, more of the same. And then, I don't know, then it gets muddled. Then there was 7 movies or 8 movies. How many movies are there, Perri?
There's 7, not including this
not
one.
including Jigsaw. So now we're back. Wow. Here we are back with Jigsaw. Curiosity is getting me. I just want to know how they're going to handle Jigsaw himself. We have Tobin Bell, obviously, as Jigsaw, saying something in this clip. So I just want to know what the storyline is going to be. I'm very interested to hear what you think, Perri, what these guys are thinking, what all of you guys might think, and you out there, precious viewer, what you think of Saw. If this is going to be a return for greatness, and if now we're in store for another Saw franchise, meaning, are we going to get another Saw next Halloween? Yeah. Because next Halloween, we got the return of Halloween. John Carpenter and David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and Jamie Lee Curtis all coming back to relaunch the Halloween franchise, which is near and dear to my heart. So I'm biased when it comes to Saw. I know you're a fan of Saw.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I am a fan of Saw. I'm a fan of the Jigsaw character and his mentality and his approach to horror, because yes, we can easily throw around the term torture porn, but this movie and Jigsaw as a character in particular, he had really, thoughtful motivations, and I think that gets lost as you get further and further into the series, because it gets so muddled up by his disciples and his teachings and all the different people that took over and all that nonsense. So I really just hope that they strip all that clean, and what we get is not, I don't know how they can bring Tobin Bell back given what happened in past movies, but one way or the other, I just hope that this movie really embodies his mentality, because that's what Saw is really all about. As for this clip, as a Saw fan, it's exciting to hear that voice and to see this happening to a group of people. I wish that the trap that they highlighted in their very first clip could have been a little more inventive, where I would have been like, oh my God, that's something brand new, because that really is one of the best part of the series, is going from film to film and seeing how crazy and different each trap gets. That's not really the case here. I think what I kept focusing on in this clip is, I don't know if you could see, they're all knocked out there, but if you watch the clip, you have to just look for the one guy that didn't wake up, and he's just being dragged along on the chain. But also, I think you could see a lot more of the flavor that we might see in this new Jigsaw movie in the TV spots, so look some of those up. But for now, I'll buy this clip. Rocha, are you buying it?
I'll buy it tentatively. This looks like some of the jobs I've had in my life in the past. So I mean, being dragged like that to a thing that's going to cut you to pieces. So yeah, I would say I buy it for now. But you're right. What you said about the motivations of Jigsaw, it's always interesting. Like, how far can you go with that kind of stuff? So until you get there completely, how many sequels can you have where it gets old? This looks like a cool way to do it, you know. And you're right. I bet that Shawnee Smith getting dragged unconscious and in drag through the thing. So I look forward to it, and I hope they do a nice job, because we could use a Jigsaw movie, I think, to bring the Saw franchise kind of back. Because there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things you could explore in a Saw franchise, because his whole point is to showcase what you would do as a human being in these certain situations, what your real principles and morals actually are when your life is on the line.
Yep, they have a lot of pressure on them right now, because they got to start this series off strong if they're going to contend with Halloween next year. So we'll see what happens with this soon enough, because Saw comes out at the end of the month. Right now, though, we're going to move on to our next story. I think we have a featurette.
Yes, we do. But real quick, do you guys ever wonder, if you were in this situation, if you were the one with the chain around your head and the bucket around your like, what would you do to get out of that?
'Tis the whole point of Saw.
Yep.
It's
what would you do?
Assessing, valuing your life and what you would do to survive and continue to live on.
Like I said, I've had to sacrifice people with other jobs that way. So
You would sacrifice the guy that was like sleeping and being dragged. And
Yeah, I would
put him
hope
in
he
front of
went
you.
first, and then I'd
Well, I don't think they
probably
had a choice.
beg for my life, piss my pants, and hope it goes quick. Because this is ridiculous. I'd be like, yeah. That's the one thing the Saw movies do, is that I see these people getting tortured, and I'm like, maybe that's why I'm not a big, huge fan, because I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God.
I'm uncomfortable.
I just feel like I have a better shot against Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's what I say, because I'll just run real fast.
He will always catch you, though.
Yeah, he will.
All right, sorry, Perry. Back to the feature we're going to talk about. Netflix has released a new featurette for Bright, David Ayer's upcoming fantasy action thriller that stars Will Smith as an LAPD cop who has to partner with an orc played by Joe Edgerton. The movie tells the story of Edgerton's orc being the first of his kind to join the LAPD, and how this contentious relationship is further tested when the pair comes across a magic wand, the equivalent of a nuclear weapon in their world. The movie is set to hit Netflix on December 22nd later this year. Perry, buy or sell the new featurette for Bright?
Okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm still not sold
Whoa.
on Bright. Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
I know. That's been
Whoa.
that's been the mentality. Because I think we reacted to a trailer that dropped at Comic-Con, and when I said I was lukewarm and not entirely convinced, everyone was, oh my God, this looks like the greatest thing ever. What are you talking about? Right now, what I'm intrigued by is the fact that it's humans working with supernatural creatures like orcs. Even in this featurette, though. And, like, yeah, they add the wand being the nuclear weapon, and that's an interesting thing to explore, but I still don't see anything that makes me think that this is going to pop. Like, in this featurette, they kept repeating the fact that, oh, it's a story about humans and orcs, but it's really a story about their friendship more than anything. It's a human story, which I like, but a lot of the things that I heard in this featurette, maybe appropriately so, given that's the way they probably shot this thing, they just feel like stale sound bites to me. I like the look of it. I'm excited to see what the full feature has to offer, but I don't think this featurette kind of boosted my anticipation for Bright. Rocha, what do you think about this one?
I started out going, this is going to be stupid. And by the end of the clip, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm kind of in. You know, it's a lot of good actors in this with Will Smith, Numi Rapace, and Joel Edgerton. So that gets me sold. David Ayer, I'm a massive fan of. Suicide Squad, I give him a complete pass on that because I've loved everything else he's done. So to me, I'm excited to see what they can do. It's basically Alien Nation. We've seen this before, but there might be some elements here with this idea of the orc. Like, it's very, look, I don't want to say anything too controversial, but it's like, well, a cop from a different race and different species having to police his own. What does that mean? When, like, you know, and this whole idea, and what like when he says that scene when he shoots a human, he's like, oh my God, I shot a human. that's a real deal. So I love that Joel Edgerton is playing this guy, not edgy. He's a guy who's just trying to figure out where he belongs as a new policeman on this beat. And then you throw in this magic wand, and let me tell you, so I know something about wands, and all this kind of stuff happening. So to me, it actually gets me willing to watch it and see what happens. And I know people are saying, oh, why are they wasting money on something this stupid? But I actually thought by the end of it that I'm interested to see what David Ayer will do with it. And I like the visuals and the makeup, and it looks very seamless. This world exists this way, and it feels very seamless.
Well, saying why waste money on something so stupid is crazy, because that's the cool thing about Netflix right now, is that they're taking risks. And no matter how we wind up feeling about this thing, good on them for letting David Ayer do something batshit crazy that could be completely original for all I know, and folks will fall in love with. So, absolutely. Reilly, where do you fall here? Are you a light buy like me or a real buy like Rocha?
I'm a real buy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big buy, actually. Everything with this movie has just rubbed me the right way. I don't know. Call it the love I have for, fantasy, gritty cop dramas, and to put the two together, I get shades of Alien Nation, which I love, the original with James Caan and Mandy Patinkin. That's a great movie, and I'm wondering if they can mine some of that, which had a very similar thing with Mandy Patinkin's alien character comes in, and he's looked at sideways by the rest of the cops because it's the first alien to be on the force. Now we have the first orc. And then you introduce the magic wand. That's where it got me. I went, wait a minute, magic wand that's like a nuclear weapon? I'm like, yeah, okay. I like this. I like the way it looks. And it's David Ayer. David Ayer, yes, I give him a pass for Suicide Squad as well. I think Warner Brothers was all over that thing, and he didn't have a final say in that. He then came out once, and he was talking about how he's going to put some oomph. I'm not going to use his words on this. Some oomph on a movie where he's left to do what he wants to do and make a hard R rating. And everybody went, oh my God, that must have been Suicide Squad. Well, he left that Scarface remake. And that's what I think he was ultimately referencing, because we then heard Scarface, they were looking for the remake to be like PG-13, and that just sounds ridiculous. But here, he was able to do what he wants to do because Netflix is very good right now of just giving filmmakers what they want to do. Just here's our sandbox, here's some money, go do what you want to do. And I've read some of the reports and the report that showed up on Collider.com where they're like, Netflix has subscribers, they don't share how many people are viewing it, but they just, if they get the subscription, then they're making their money. And so if they have content, this is why they're going to release 80 movies next year. Bright's one of them, or Bright is coming at the tail end, but they were releasing these original movies to give subscribers something, and they're showing these filmmakers, like Martin Scorsese is coming in with The Irishman, that you can do what you want here at Netflix. Have fun. Tell your story. And because of that, and because of the elements of fantasy that I love personally, I think this looks great, and everything behind it is great. And Max Landis is a lunatic in such a great way. I love his stuff. He came on the Schmo Show and pitched a movie that was like a horror with orcs and all this kind of stuff. And by the end, he revealed it was a Lord of the Rings sequel set today. And I was like, wow, you're mine, man. So if he's off the chain as well, I'm all for this. Let's see how it lands on Netflix.
Well, it comes out on Netflix December 22nd, so keep an eye out for that. And tell us in the comments below, are you going to check out Bright? Are you really hyped for it? Do you like what you've seen so far? We want to know. Right now, though, we got to move on to our final buy or sell for the day. Wendy, what is it?
A24 and DirecTV have released the first trailer and poster for the upcoming Western drama, The Ballad of Lefty Brown. Bill Pullman stars as Lefty Brown, a man who witnesses the murder of his longtime partner and newly elected Senator Edward Johnson, and strikes out to find the killer and avenge his friend's gruesome death. Written and directed by Jared Moshe, The Ballad of Lefty Brown will premiere exclusively on DirecTV on November 9th and will play in theaters starting on December 15th. Rocha, buy or sell the first trailer for The Ballad of Lefty Brown.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, no.
I'm the outlaw, son.
Whoa.
Let me tell you, I know something about Westerns.
Yeah?
This looks actually kind of interesting. This had vibes to me of the more smaller independent Westerns like we saw with Slow West a couple years ago with Michael Fassbender. Ironically, one of the last good movies he did as well. And I really like this Ballad of Lefty Brown trailer because sometimes it isn't about the desperado who stands there and is, like that Geico commercial, walk, left, right, hide eyes, lift eyes. Sometimes it's about the people you don't expect to be heroes who become heroes and make great Westerns. In the 1970s, Kenny Rogers was a big deal. He had a great song called Coward of the County. everybody considered him the coward of the county, and he stands up for himself once and for all by the end of the song. It's one of the great story songs of the 70s. Let me tell you something. That's what this film is about. It feels this way. And Bill Pullman is one guy we always cheer for, from the President of Independence Day to While You Were Sleeping. You love this guy, so he's a great choice for this. Peter Fonda right off the bat, headshot. All right, what are we going to do? Jim Caviezel, who's great when he plays these menacing kind of authority figures. He was one of the best parts of Escape Plan with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. So all this stuff looks really, really well. Plus, they got that Irish guy who's in Braveheart, who gave away his wife on first night, and also was in Wanted. I think he was in Wanted. But we see these kinds of good character actors and actors in this film, and this looks interesting because there's going to be more to this than you think. And you can cheer for this guy who maybe we've been there, where people doubt us or discount us or don't think we can do something, and then we surprise people. So I think this Western looks like it's going to be something like that, and I'm looking forward to it. And the Outlaw says, watch this Western.
My goodness.
I think they should have scrapped that trailer and just cut out that little promo from Movie Talk and just run that instead, because Rocha did a better job selling me on this movie than that actual trailer did. Yeah. Westerns, I like Westerns. It's not my favorite genre. I don't gravitate towards them. I don't seek them out. If they come my way and they intrigue me, yes, I will watch them. But there was nothing about this trailer that said to me, there was nothing about this trailer that kind of expressed the depth that you just gave it. And
it's all there. I don't know what you don't see.
Yeah, I don't see it. But what I did see is the official.
You Northerners, there's stuff going on in the West and the South now.
Oh boy,
all right, anyway,
let's not go there.
You Yankees, you
He
damn Yankees.
thinks I only like gangster movies all of a sudden. That's not true.
Films.
But I read the official synopsis for this movie, and it was not well represented in this trailer at all. And if I'm just judging this, I'm not saying that the movie's going to be crap, but I'm judging a trailer, and it's not a good trailer. It doesn't flow well. I don't think it builds Bill Pullman in the way that you just described him, which is the way that I see him as an actor in most movies he's in, especially coming right off The Sinner, where he's so good and he's such a damaged character, yet he has that kind of safety and warmth that you need from someone who's going on a mission and trying to achieve a goal and save people. But here, I was just short of laughing at him. Yeah, I didn't think it was good. And once the trailer finally plowed through the story, then it got to that ending where it was like a quick montage where they're like, oh crap, it's a Western. We need some energy. Let's slap things together really quick and then send people on their way. That's just what it felt like to me. Maybe the full feature will be great, but I am selling this trailer. Reilly, what about you?
Oh, kids. Don't make me come back there. Okay. Do I sell the trailer? I'm not going to sell it. I bought it at the flea market. All right, I'll take it. I'll buy it at the flea market because it's not a great trailer, Rocha. It's not. I don't see it. However, there are points of view of what you've said that I agree with. I think it does look interesting. I think the cast looks interesting, and I think Bill Pullman is doing something interesting. Now, the trailer did not do him any favors. I think that it didn't know the tone it was going for, and there were a few times that he spoke that I got a Blazing Saddles vibe, where I'm like, it's a little bit, we're walking a line here, and you kind of fell over that line a few times, and then you course corrected. So it looks interesting, and the one thing that sticks out to me is A24.
Yes,
I support what they do.
Yep.
They take chances. And because of that, I will buy at least the film and the trailer. Again, I bought it, but pretty cheaply at the flea market because it's not well made. But I see what they're going for, and I think Bill Pullman is doing something interesting that I haven't seen from him. And so I'm curious. I will see this. I am a huge fan of the Western genre. Tombstone's my favorite, so I would love to see a return. Is that your favorite?
No,
Rocha?
it's the worst. I hate it.
Tombstone's the worst?
We're not going to get into it.
Get the hell out of here.
Sometimes you buy stuff in the flea market and you find the Declaration of Independence underneath. So, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. It could be an incredible film.
It could be. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it could be an incredible film. We don't know. I think this trailer, though, did not do it any favors.
Yep. So if you want to give this one a shot, it comes out exclusively on DirecTV on November 9th, and it's playing in theaters starting December 15th. Before we move on to our plugs and to mailbag, I want to remind you we're going to take your live Twitter questions at the very end of the show. Wendy's going to pick some good ones, so start sending them in right now. Now I'm going to tell you about some shows and some content we have coming up on Collider right now. As always, later today, you're going to get your episode of Heroes. And then there's also TV Talk also. And I'm going to be on that show. And we get to talk about American Horror Story, which, of course, I'm excited about. We also have our Thor Ragnarok non-spoiler review. That is up right now, as well as our Only the Brave review, too. And as promised, later today, you're going to get a Snowman review as well. Whole lot of movies coming out real soon. And then we have a Collider.com exclusive interview with Josh Brolin. So if you want to read what he said about working on Deadpool 2 and about when the X-Force movie might be filming, you should go check that out on Collider.com right after the show. And then we also have an all-new Schmodown dropping tomorrow and an all-new Awesome-tacular as well. If you have not been watching Awesome-tacular, I can't recommend it enough. All the folks in this building work real hard on that show. It's got some great variety in it, and it's a lot of fun to work on. So go give that a watch. You can find a link to the latest episode in the description of Movie Talk, as always. Right now, though, we are going to move on to our mailbag question. Wendy, what is in the mailbag today?
This one comes from Anna, who writes, I'm so excited to see Laura Dern in the new Star Wars movie, but I really don't know much about her. Do you have any more info on her, and do you think she is good or is she bad?
Yeah, I love that this question came up. Have either of you guys read the most recent Leia book?
No.
So,
That's why I'm glad
okay.
for this mailbag, because I want you to teach.
I'm
Teach.
really excited about this because that character was introduced in the new Leia book by Claudia Gray. If you don't want to know anything about that book, I guess it's cue for the spoiler alert, please.
Wait, what
Adam's
what
on it
chapter
today.
is she in?
Well, all right, here we go. She's in the book.
I know she's in the book. I'm just not.
Wendy is
that's a
trying
spoiler.
to shield herself.
There you go.
Put Rocha's hat on your head.
There you
Maybe
go.
it'll cover your ears.
Earmuffs.
So what Amilyn Holdo is in the Leia book. She is about Princess Leia's age, and they're in something called the Apprentice Legislature together, and it's basically for budding politicians. So that's where they start to work together, and they also go on these kind of like exploring outdoor training kind of trips, and that's where they come to get to know each other more personally. And she's just this really kooky kind of character from a planet called Gatalenta, and they're very much on the same page in terms of politics and in terms of what's happening around them and in the Senate, and they bond over that. And in the book, Leia does have to, I don't want to call it a mission because there's various stages to it, but at one point in the book, Amilyn helps Leia out on certain things, and I think that's kind of foreshadowing what we could see from her in the next movie, where there's no doubt that Amilyn's going to become a member of the Resistance, and she's going to be a key ally for Leia. And given how unique that character is in the book, and given how much I like Laura Dern as an actress, I really think that is the perfect pairing of content and talent. And she could really breathe some fresh life with a really unique character, and I just can't wait to see her. Rocha, what are you thinking about this character?
Yeah, I did a little bit of research. You know, she's an ally of the Galactic Civil War, and she's an LGBTQ character. So
Really?
I don't know
That
if
is
they're
true.
going to highlight that in the movie. But hey, if we can have it on Star Trek Discovery, guess what? Maybe Star Wars should catch up and have that as well. So that's not an issue for me. I love this. I love that she is a perfect look for a senator in this kind of thing. And we've seen this going a number of novels recently that they deal with, especially with the Leia line, that she deals with the Senate a lot. She deals with these politicians a lot, going back and forth. So to me, it makes me excited. And the rumors are that she's not the biggest fan of Leia right now, or Poe Dameron. So how's that going to play? Is he lighting that spark with her or against her? That brings down the First Order, the fire that brings down the First Order. We shall see. But I love this image, and I like Laura Dern, who's a fantastic actress for decades. And so I'm excited that she's in
It's
this.
an interesting thought to consider, given where the Leia book,
Yeah,
takes us.
that's true.
So I like
Has
having
everyone
that
at the
in my
table
mind right
read
now.
the Leia book?
No,
I think
haven't
just
yet.
me.
What you just read didn't actually spoil it
can't-
for me, though.
I
Yeah.
can't I was trying to kind of
Yeah,
toe the
thank
line
you.
so people
Yeah.
can
Thank
still
you for that.
listen, but I can't recommend that book enough if you haven't read or listened to it. Reilly, what do you think about Laura Dern as Amilyn Holdo?
Well, I mean, when she was cast in the movie, I was like, man, good job. Good job. Benicio del Toro, again, good job at the casting. Great job casting Force Awakens to set up all these characters. What I love that Lucasfilm and Disney are doing right now is introducing characters in these canon books. So the fact that it goes back before New Hope with this character is fascinating to me. The fact that it could be a character that pushes the boundaries of Star Wars, let's put it that way. I love that. Please do more of that, and you're right, Rocha. So I love that dynamic to it. And I love then hearing that she might not be the biggest fan of Poe Dameron and Princess Leia or General Leia right now. So that is going to add an interesting dynamic to The Last Jedi. If there's some fighting within the Resistance, not good. And that adds stakes, and that adds tension, and that adds drama, and how is that gonna play when the First Order then comes attacking? So this is great, and I just love the way she looks, and I love what's behind it. That is so Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
Even the purple hair, I know, I get it. Some people are like, what is this, Hunger Games?
No, I dig that. I dig her look.
I dig the look, and it's different. And you know what? That's what it is. It's different. You put her in the Star Wars universe with purple hair, and you're like, what's going on here? I like it. I want to learn more. Like this question said, I'm not familiar with with her character.
Is that a BB6, BB5, BB4?
That's a
droid?
BB. That's a BB unit.
Yeah.
It's a BB unit for sure.
Her title is a Vice Admiral. So how's that going to play into it? So it's just interesting.
Well,
and what we know with The Force Awakens, how how the Republic was virtually taken out.
Yeah.
This now it's power. It's who's running this, General Leia or Vice Admiral. That's what I think we're going to get into, and it's fascinating.
Yes.
Ooh, I can't wait. Anna, thank you so much for that mailbag question. If you want one of your mailbag questions featured on this show or maybe one of our weekend mailbag shows, send it on over to collidervideo@gmail.com. Keep it short and sweet, keep it interesting and different, and maybe we'll pick it and we'll talk about it. So that's it for mailbag. Now it's time for your live Twitter questions. Wendy, let's try to do two. How about that?
All right, sounds good to me. The first one comes from Mr. Miracle Man, who writes, we talk about foreign IP that shouldn't be remade in the U.S., but is there any U.S. IP that other countries shouldn't tackle?
Oh, wow. That's a really
Is that
big...
too in-depth of a question?
That's a big question. It's hard to think of any specific title.
They mean the U.S. shouldn't do a James Bond movie? Is that what they're saying?
Something like that.
As in taking a U.S. American IP and then bringing it to an international audience with an
Maybe,
adaptation.
for example, think about how we've been... take Death Note, for an example. So that is a Japanese IP.
Just the revert, which is interesting because maybe it's just because we do tend to cover things that are happening in Hollywood a little more so than things that are happening in the international market, but I haven't really heard too much about it going that route. I wonder if it's because Hollywood is... I was about to say, I wonder if it's because Hollywood is like the epicenter of money making for the industry, but really we're constantly talking about the China box office and how that can make or break movies going forward. Yeah. I would be interested in seeing what would happen if you flip-flopped that process. It's just, no matter what, I think more recently we've been talking about foreign films that are being adapted here in the States soon after their releases, and that's what rubs me the wrong way. And I think the same would be true even if that process was reversed, because if something is that good where it warrants that kind of treatment, maybe you should let that thing live and breathe and get attention on its own before going and making changes, whether you're bringing it to a more international audience or you're bringing it to the States. So I don't know, it's an interesting thing to consider. Reilly, did you come up with anything?
No, I mean, I can't really think. I mean, I'm looking. I just kind of did a Google search and noticed that there are a lot of.
I just got so excited because I thought of one.
You do it.
The Purge.
Oh.
I mean, okay. I just saw Rocha.
What?
Yeah, and now all of you saw it. Thanks
American
for that watch
IPs.
out there.
American IPs that are successful.
Well, but I'm
and are
That
legendary.
was not how
and
the
not
question
level
was
of Bond.
worded.
Wait,
Purge
what?
is successful.
No, I'm strictly thinking about
Level of
something
Bond.
about a concept that is so in tune with the United States lifestyle, and to be able to see how that might change, or really any kind of zombie apocalypse movie, like I'm obviously not talking about movies, but TV with Walking Dead. It's like what they did with Fear the Walking Dead. It's like, what if you took that zombie apocalypse to a foreign country and just saw how their lifestyle choices maybe changed how they approach that kind of predicament.
But there have been zombie movies from Europe for decades. So there
Well,
have been.
no,
But like for me, I'm saying
yeah.
more like Superman. That's an American thing. We saw the Indian version that made a lot of money. India did a version of Superman that was kind of comical for us watching it, but it made a lot of money. I'd be interested to see other countries. I'd love to see Red Sun done by a Russian director and a Russian production company do an entire Russian version of Red Sun of the Superman story. I would love to see that. So I think it's possible.
Yeah, I would say my answer is like we remake everything here.
True.
We had the Korean horror movie extravaganza where we remade every single movie with The Ring and The Grudge. So
Dark
why
Water.
not? Yeah, why not? I mean, it would be interesting, like you said, to take an American icon like Superman and put it through the lens of a foreign country. I would be all for it. I don't think there's any, I mean, even Star Wars, if they want to do their version of Star Wars, good luck. But we're talking about movies that, everybody has their interpretation of it. And if it's for a specific audience, especially China, which this is what popped up. I mean, they've remade everything from What Women Want to Sideways, in China. So I'm like, hey, more power to you. Yeah. Do it. That's fine by me.
Another one that crossed my mind is La La Land. Like, if you took that type of story and put it in any other country's movie industry, that could be interesting, too.
Well, we've seen the Western genre interpreted to different countries, in Italy and France and Russia as well, yeah.
All right, so I think we got time for one more quick one.
Okay, I think this is a better one that I picked out because the other one was a little bit more extensive. Okay, Mike writes, I'm not usually one for Marvel versus DC talk, but Marvel is now dropping The Punisher on the same day as Justice League, so is that a low blow?
Ooh. I didn't really? Ooh.
I didn't realize it was on the same day.
I don't know. I really, no matter what side of the divide I fall on, I think that might be the riskier move for the Punisher if they wanted that big start day, because the Punisher will exist on Netflix. People can make Justice League the priority, and I think a lot of people will. I still think that Justice League is making $145 million opening weekend, which is a nice chunk of money, and I think that because people can then go home and watch Punisher, that might be how the ordering falls out. That's a shocking choice. I'm surprised they would do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be on the same day, but I think, Perri, you're right. Like, people will go and get their tickets because they want to be the first to experience Justice League when they have the rest of the weekend to sit on their couch and binge Punisher, which is probably what I'll do. Yeah,
and if it's so to speak, shots fired from Marvel, you're shooting blanks. That's not I'm sorry, but Justice League, Punisher. Yeah. I can't wait for Punisher. Don't get me wrong, but this is Justice League we're talking about here. I need to see Justice League. I'm going to go out opening night to see this thing. So, and I think audiences will as well. And I think 145 million opening weekend is a pretty good number. I think I would agree with you. As we get a little bit closer, that will change. I think it'll either go a little bit higher. It'll probably go higher, I think. But yeah, I don't know if Marvel did it as a I think it's just what? Why would they do that?
If that was
actually?
a dig, it's the worst dig in the world. It's almost like shooting yourself in the foot in a sense. I mean, I was just thinking because Stranger Things is coming up, and I think some movies are really considering that a threat.
Stranger
Things, I think, is on a different level than The Punisher, though, where I'm not comparing the quality of the show, but Stranger Things was just like a colossal hit last year, and I think it might be a scenario where folks are afraid that that's going to get spoiled if they don't stay home and watch that ASAP versus, I don't know, going out to see Jigsaw in theaters then. So that's a different story than this one. Rocha, if you had to choose between seeing Justice League first or binging The Punisher first, what would you choose?
It'd have to be Justice League. Me and 75 of my friends are already going, no, I'm joking. We've rented out 2 theaters, just us. Me and my friends, no. I'm looking forward to it. And Justice League, because I just want to see, I like the trailers so far. I've enjoyed it. Some of the posters I'm not a fan of, but like everything else I've enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll go with Mark Reilly. I will agree with Mark Reilly. I will go opening night as well to see this film. But Punisher I can have for Saturday and Sunday. Friday night or Thursday night I can go see Justice League. Saturday and Sunday I can enjoy Punisher both days. I'm absolutely going to destroy binge that show.
Destroy binge.
Yeah.
That is a new term. Everyone should destroy binge everything.
That means I'm just barreling into each episode.
A lot of people are saying in the chat too that they did the same thing with Daredevil season 2 and Batman v Superman. It looks like Daredevil dropped like a week right before Batman v Superman came out.
Oh, they have there's a precedent.
There's a track record.
Maybe okay.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're done. We don't have any more time today. First off, I want to thank the guys behind the scenes over there. We have Adam and Cody. Woo! Thank you guys so much for your hard work. Now I want to thank everyone around the table. Mark Reilly, where can everyone find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me at, look at this. Finally got my Cal the Schmo-Dog shirt. Got thrown off camera. So, at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram. You can see pictures of me wearing this. We'll see you next time.
And Rocha.
Yeah, you can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. See that, all that kind of jazz.
What the hell is
everything's going on there. A new episode of Outlaw Nation will be dropping in the SK Plus podcast channel in the next couple of hours. So here are my thoughts. Took a couple weeks breaks, and I'm ready to talk about some stuff. So listen to my stuff for an hour. Thanks for having me on this today. I'm having a blast.
Rocha, pass it to Wendy.
Yeah, pass
Wendy,
it over.
Okay.
Pass it.
Oh shit.
Wendy, where can everyone find you on the internet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pass it back too. You can find me on YouTube at the Movie Couple channel, at Wendy Lee Zaney on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Here we go.
Oh hell!
Oh yeah.
That was a bad attempt. Should we do
You didn't get me!
Wait,
Come on.
one quick wave to throw out to close out the show. Go,
All right,
Reilly.
ready?
You start.
Ready?
Wait. Singles. There.
Wait, okay, go. Whoop.
Wendy.
Oh my God, we have to close
We
out.
suck.
That's it.
Let's
We're
go.
done. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Perri Nemiroff. As always, it is an honor hosting this show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning with more movie talk.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.